Welcome to the Volvo Ocean Race Stopover here in Lisbon. This is Hannah Cotterell with the Harken team, catching up with Neil Cox of Team Vestas Wind. Nice to see you, Neil.
Yeah, very nice to see you here too.
You guys have had to fight to be race ready here in Lisbon, and it's been absolutely inspirational to watch. What was it like getting back out on the water just last weekend?
No, we've been very fortunate. We've had 3 great days sailing. We've been able to put the boat through a bit. We've seen anywhere up to 30 knots off the coast of the Cascais, so it's been great. I mean, obviously, slightly, it was an ambitious sailing schedule plus commissioning schedule, but we've been able to tick everything off we wanted to, and it's gone well.
That's brilliant. That's great to hear. And so it's good to be back on the water. You guys were out yesterday as well. I saw you were trucking along downwind, which was brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, just to be part of the race again is uplifting for everybody. The whole team, you can just feel it. They're just generating enthusiasm from being around everyone again. And in all fairness, all the teams have been incredibly supportive of us, as has Volvo and everyone else and all our suppliers. So we've been really fortunate.
Oh, fantastic! That's good to hear. And with the boat going on the reef in 2014, could you give us some sort of an idea of the scale of getting her back and what was involved with that?
Yeah, I mean, we had a mandate that the boat had to get off the reef. Both Vestas and VOR were pretty adamant they were not to leave the boat there. Going out there was a bit of an unknown. You think you can take everything you could possibly need, but you know that there's going to be something that's not there. The first day out on the reef, it was a bit of a head scratcher as to, okay, how are we going to make this happen? Yeah. We're very fortunate that we took some good people with us, and just the help from when you say the locals, there's only 8 of them, but they know the reef really well. They know how the reef was going to behave while we're on there. And in all fairness, it was just a plan that worked, and we're very fortunate. And then the fact that through the support of Maersk and Volvo, were able to divert a ship that was never really going to be near Ile de Sud, and they changed their course going from, I think it was Port Elizabeth to Malaysia, and they came within, I think it was like 6 miles of the reef of where we were, and we were able to float the boat and run pumps and everything and create the stability we needed to get the boat over to the ship and loaded and on its way to Malaysia and then to Italy from there.
Quite a logistical project that it's, and obviously not something you can ever plan for or have an idea of what to do until unfortunately something happened. So it was really incredible to watch how you guys did that.
It was definitely not part of any kind of real plan at the time. You would never foresee this. It's just one of those things. It's just you would never plan for it or have a contingency for it. Yeah. When it did happen, and then obviously there's just so many things that need to fall in. There's layers of bureaucracy, from insurance, from sponsorship, to all kinds of different things that you need to make sure that you get in line first. Right. And we're very fortunate that everyone worked together and all had a common goal, which was to get Vestas off the reef. And then at the same time, where that was our priority, at the same time in the background it was working in your mind as, okay, how do we get the boat back in the race, and can we continue in the race? And as we're able to salvage more and more of the boat, obviously your plans change. All of a sudden you start getting greedy and want more and more from it, and we were fortunate enough to get a boat back that we could reuse quite a bit, and then find ourselves here ready to start in Lisbon. Yeah,
absolutely incredible. I mean, we're here 6 months on. You guys had a plan. I think it's about 6 months on now, is it? And that is an incredible amount of time to effectively rebuild the boat. It just incredible to see what you guys have done. And with the introduction of the Volvo One design, obviously it's different, the 14-15 race from previous races. How did that affect what went into rebuilding this boat?
If anything, actually the One design made it harder, in the sense that obviously we're held to very tight constraints. Yeah. The boat had to be One design or we don't get to compete, simple as that. So by the time we got the boat back to Persico, we had basically 4 months really to get the boat turned around. Enormous amount of man hours went into that, but at the same time we had to put all the protocols in place to make sure that everyone from race management and VOR, everything was satisfied to make sure we were One design.
Yeah, so if anything, had something like this happened before the One design introduction, it would have potentially been a slightly less mammoth task.
It would have been a different repair, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And then also, there was, within the rule that we played in for previous races, you could play with, if the boat was to get heavy, we could play with our bowl weights and all those kind of things. Right. And just the way you would do the method of repair as well. Obviously, we need to make sure we have a boat that is exactly the same as everybody else's. So that really drove a lot of decisions, from having the FAR office on site for the whole rebuild to, replacing the entire hull, all those kind of things, just to make sure that, we could, not be held, at fault for anything when it was time to re-enter the race.
Yeah. And speaking of replacements and rebuilds, with the hardware on board, obviously she's Harken hardware kitted, how much of it was reusable, or did you have to work with the team to replace the hardware on board?
Well, we're actually very fortunate there. One thing that we were quite concerned about with the boat being left on the reef for a couple of days was would things be stolen or things like that. And when we did get back out to the reef, everything was still there. So we had the complete winch kit, all the deck hardware, everything was still there. The other thing that was quite fortunate is having the boat come back to Persico with the Harken factory only an hour away in Como, and the team that we all know very well from Harken there. It was a no-brainer. It was all very simple. So we didn't really need to replace much. We serviced everything, and then it was just a case of while we were rebuilding decks and getting the whole boat back together, a lot of that stuff went back to the Harken factory. Was just given the old once over and returned to us, and pretty much as it is right now, it's good to go.
Yeah, I was down at the boat yesterday actually with the guys having a quick once over, I guess, before you guys start going out for some practice racing and trials and things, and looked like everything was all right.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean the system's just it works very well, and we're very fortunate that we've got the team that we have here that follow the race, and they do a fantastic job of servicing everything. So it's one of those things we just don't need to worry about.
And essentially you guys have had a race within a race to get here now, and the other teams have obviously had a lot of time on the water. What are your plans for tactics for the rest of the race and remaining competitive with the legs that are left?
Oh, I mean, it's great that we're no longer in a boat building race, and it is now. It's all about a sailing race. I think with the guys, I mean, they know the boat well enough that even after sailing it for the last week, they'll remember what it's all about. And then I think once a 10-minute gun goes, that just the adrenaline just it lights back up, and these guys will be mentally as competitive and physically as competitive with everybody else. So it'll just be a case of actually probably trying to calm the fever on board, because everybody will want to just do everything they possibly can, and just get that composure back on board and sail controlled sailing and do well.
Fantastic. And for you, shore manager, you've been with them, they're like your family now, and you're about to watch them set sail, race off from race start. An amazing feeling, but how's it going to be for you?
Oh, I think June 7 will be the first time I actually truly relax. Like we set a goal that it was the restart in Lisbon. We're still not quite there. We're in very good shape for that start. Once the boats leave there is when I'll finally just actually process what's actually happened in the last 6 months, and just reflect on it a bit and be grateful for all the support we've had from so many people.
Well, you guys must be incredibly proud of what you've achieved. It's absolutely unbelievable, and I think you're probably one of the busiest people at this boatyard right now, so I won't take up any more of your time. But best of luck to you and Team Vestas Win for the rest of the race.
No, thank you very much, and thank you for all the support. It's been wonderful. All good.
Thank you. This is Harken here at Volvo Stopover Lisbon.